Hello YouTube. So I've been putting off making this video or any video really for a while now. I can't make a fun hunky-dory video in good faith without saying this. I think it's important and I think it needs to be said. I think it's probably the most important video I'll ever put on my channel. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Everybody really should see this. So we're gonna just cover a quick little topic today, and wherever you sit with it, it's fine. You don't have to follow the channel anymore after this. You don't have to do whatever. You can be as mean as you want and throw your opinions in the comments, but before you do that, just please give the video a watch, because I think it is important for everyone at this point. So I'm on my boat right now. On this little lake I go ice fishing on, or I used to, back when I had a lot of free time. And there's no ice. That's weird, right? Yeah, you can already see where this video is going. So again, before you click off or unsubscribe, please, I urge you, just give it a watch. I'm going to show you some irrefutable proof on this. This isn't some scam, hoax, whatever you want to call it. I'm not being paid by anybody. I'm going to lose money on this video, I guarantee it. I'm going to lose subscribers on this video, I guarantee it. But it's still important that I get it out there. There should be ice on this lake until mid-March. Admittedly, I haven't been here in a couple of years, and that's what shocked me, is I came out here and there is absolutely no ice. In case you haven't been paying attention, that's not the only indicator of, you know, what's going on in the world. And that's not the only issue with what's going on in the world. And there's two really big things that are hand in hand right now that needs to be addressed. And the first, I don't want to say more pressing, but kind of more long-term problematic is, you know, changing weather debate thing. So I'm going to show you a quick little science experiment that I did demonstrating the real tangible effects of this, that it is not bullshit. It's not, you know, pseudoscience or whatever you want to call it. It's something you in your own home can directly observe with the right tools. Bag full of just air, and then we have a bag with some dry ice in it, and I chose dry ice over a canister of CO2 because I didn't want anybody saying that, oh, maybe there's additives in that. So we just got the pure stuff right there. It's literally solid carbon dioxide. I have it vented a little bit because I don't want it to, you know, pop. So we're just going to wait for that to completely dissipate, and then I'm going to seal the bag off and we're going to conduct the experiment. Infrared bulb for like lizards and that kind of thing. Oh, I should add too, infrared thermometer. So okay, so we have heat source 1, which is soldering iron. We're getting bag of regular air, right? Let's see. 169, 218. 170, 169. I'll play like at 1 degree. 218, 219. 170. 218. Bag of CO2. All right. 165, 163, 218. 164, 63, 217, 167, 217. So within 1 degree of starting. 167, 218, 66. So that's like a difference of 5 degrees, I think, between the bag of air, which isn't a lot, admittedly, but it is enough. This isn't pure CO2, this is just a higher concentration of CO2. So the takeaway here is that the CO2 in there by itself is affecting the infrared absorption of our little thermometer thingy. So something is clearly up. Is clearly going on. There's a difference there. Where it's sitting right now, we're getting 266. Start out with the bag of air one more time. Just a final test. Right, so 215, 268, 215, 268. One more. 215, 268. All right, cool. Very consistent. Great stuff. All right, and bag of CO2 again. All right, starting numbers: 270, 212, 270, 269, 212, 270, 269, 213, 212, 270, and last time, guys, 212. All right, I would say that's pretty conclusive. So now, what does that prove? That proves that the CO2 is absorbing some of that infrared light given off from the lamp and or the heat source, same difference. Somebody in the comments is going to be saying it, and now Red Guy or whoever did the video didn't address this. Somebody's going to say, well, how do we know that the CO2 isn't reflecting the light, right? Because absorbing that heat like a black piece of paper and reflecting it like a mirror are two different things. So all this has proved is that, oh, if you put your hand or if you put particles of something in front of, you know, heat, then the thermometer is going to read a lower temperature, duh, right? So how do we prove that this is actually the CO2 absorbing the heat and not it reflecting? Let me show you. So the way we can test whether or not this is absorbing the light or reflecting it is really simple. We just put the sensor on the same side as the source. If the CO2 is reflecting infrared like a shield, then if we put something between the target and that number should go up. Versus if it's absorbing the infrared light between here and there, that number should go down. And I'll demonstrate this with a mirror just to prove that the concept is definitely sound. Okay, so we have now again the source. We have something that does actually reflect the light. So if I aim it at the light, because it's reflecting, it should go up. Yep, and there it is, 80, 90, 100. So it's not as high as aiming it at the source, because we're not getting the full brunt of it. But it's very, very obvious. 70, so on and so forth. Same surface on the reflection, 72. Shine the laser. It's hard to see on the camera, so there's the laser, 76. As soon as I go into the light, 80. 73.9, 74 right now, so little slight fluctuations with the air moving around in the house. So here we go. If this works like a mirror, it should go up. Nope. Going down 2 degrees, 71, 73. It's actually surprising how well that is working. 71, 73. So again, if that was reflecting, like my hand, then it would be reading the light source. That number should be going up. And now it's measuring my hand, so it is going up. Again, if CO2 was reflecting it, that number should have gone up, but it didn't. It went down, which tells you that CO2 is absolutely absorbing infrared light, which is absorbing heat.
I can show you how carbon dioxide affects Earth's climate using this heat-sensitive or infrared camera, which is purring away here, and a candle, this glass tube, which is hooked up to this rather large canister of carbon dioxide gas. Now, if I light the candle, you'll see that on the monitor, the camera picks up the flame perfectly. Look at that. The hottest parts are glowing white. Now watch what happens when I turn on the carbon dioxide. Just keep your eye on the flame. The gas is invisible, so you don't see it fill in the tube. But as it comes in, you should see the candle start to disappear. There it goes. Look at that. What's candle's warmth no longer reaches the camera. Instead, it's absorbed by the carbon dioxide inside the tube.
So what if we add a third variable into this and we have air with water vapor in it? Uh-oh. 195, 264, 263, 190, it's almost 200. That's huge. Shocker there, water vapor also absorbs heat. And, you know, having a more humid house stays warmer longer in the winter. So what does that mean for us? Well, not good, because CO2 absorbs the light, but so does water vapor. And as some people point out that, oh, the raise in global temperature is just water vapor thrown up in the atmosphere from volcanoes, they're not wrong. And that's not a good thing for us, because that means that if this keeps increasing, which increases more water vapor in the air, that's not good news if we don't pay attention to it. Right, so as you can very clearly see, whether you think it has an impact or not, the irrefutable point here is that carbon dioxide in the atmosphere absolutely absorbs heat and absolutely absorbs sunlight. Whatever conclusion you want to make on that, whether, oh, it has an effect or it doesn't have an effect, or water vapor is more serious and so on and so forth, again, up to you. If you take anything away from this video, I just want you to take away that this whole, like, oh, CO2 doesn't have a, you know, greenhouse effect is ludicrous. It is absolutely ludicrous. It absolutely does. With the science out of the way, now I'm going to throw my own little, you know, personal take on this problem. So the reason this video is so extremely important for me to put out there is because if we get involved in a global conflict that destroys societies, we will not have the ability to do anything about this problem. If we cross a threshold where the environment will not correct itself without human intervention, we are screwed. Then doesn't matter if you make it throughout, you know, the future Fallout world or whatever you want to hypothetical throw in there. It doesn't matter how reliant you are or self-independent you are away from, you know, the need of society or government or whatever you want to call it. If we get stuck in a runaway event and there is no modern society, we're screwed. We are so absolutely screwed. So I think that without just making this about a whole pro-environment, pro-whatever thing video, the takeaway here is that we need to seriously not get involved in anything that would end society. There's a lot of rich people that are missing this point, or corrupt people, or whatever you want to throw on there, who think that, oh, the problem is humans in general. So if we just get rid of the humans completely even, then we'll be fine, right? The environment will self-correct itself. It might not. There might be a tipping point. Logically, there has to be one out there. Whether or not you think we can get there or not, that's up to you. Like I said, we don't have a conclusive hard line on that. There's a lot of things that scientists will say that are a hard line. Again, but for sake of argument, we don't know. But if CO2 objectively absorbs heat, right, then logically there is a certain amount that past a certain point globally will capture enough heat to start vaporizing things like water. Water vapor in the air also increases heat. So there's another big problem there. Some scientists speculate that Venus had water, and that water vapor in the air on Venus was a contributing factor to why it is the way it is today. There is a solution to this. Obviously, we're not, I hope anyway, not completely screwed yet. I'm gonna link a video down below. Thunderfoot puts out, I think, humanity's safest or most expedient option right now.
So what's the solution to global warming? Well, there's one, and only one time that mankind ever had partial success in reversing global warming. Not in some aspirational greenwashing or some computer-rendered vaporware, but demonstrably effective on a planet-wide scale for some 40 years. So to the core of it, what happened here? Why did global temperatures stall after the burst of industrialization after World War II?
Going just completely off of fossil fuels tomorrow is not realistic, and that's something that people like Greta Thunberg are maybe a little bit, they push people away by saying that. They push people away saying, oh, we need to just cut everything, right? Yeah, society would grind to a halt. We can't do that. We need to transition off of that. You know, it's sad that we are living in a world right now where the future of our children is in speculation rather than a hope and a promise that they will, you know, grow old and be happy and so on and so forth. My father told me something very wise once about the dangers of things like drinking and driving. He said that you don't ever do anything in life that you cannot undo. This is one of those things, guys. If atomic powers get involved at war with each other, that's something we cannot undo as a society. And we don't know where the point of no return is for humanity and the environment without action. So again, if society screws itself on this over petty squabble with humans interacting, you know, on geopolitical wars and so on and so forth, we're doomed. We're doomed. And that's why I say this video is a important one to cover, because we might be able to recover from societal collapse and war with atomic energy and so on and so forth as a species. We might, but our ability to respond to issues that are huge in the environment like that, we won't have the power to do it. We'll just be a bunch of apes playing in the dirt. You know, what's left of it will. And yeah, so Thunderfoot's pitch, you know, the only option that has worked in the past to reduce the heating effect on the globe, we won't have the power to do that. We'll, you know, I think at a minimum we need some kind of industrial capacity to, you know, create things like aerosols or whatever to get up into the high atmosphere. That's not something that prehistoric or pre-civilization man can do. It is what it is, guys. But we need to do something about it, and killing each other to get there, we risk far, far, far too much. The one thing that Thunderfoot gets wrong in this video is that future generations are not going to be cursing us for inaction. There are not going to be any future generations. Worst case scenario, we turn into a second Venus. Next worst case scenario, most life on Earth dies, and the environment eventually, after hundreds of years, self-corrects, which would still be a future without humans. So not super great for us. Again, something needs to be done. Something. And saying that, again, going back to my last preachy video, saying that war is the answer is ludicrous. Saying that we need to ramp up massive production of arms and weapons that will all contribute to putting more CO2 into the environment, which will all contribute towards putting a strain on the economy and shortening the amount of resources that you and I as a peaceful human being has, is not the answer. Whether you want to say we're overpopulated or not, whether you want to say that we are at an unsustainable number of people on the planet, again, that's you make the conclusion there. All I'm saying is that if we all did our part to care for the environment just a little bit more and try to put in the policies to minimize the worst case scenario. This is what doesn't make sense to me, is that the people that are arguing against environmental impact are saying that, well, this is just speculation. It's not conclusive that it's not doing something either. So why would we play with speculation if the consequences for that speculation are extinction? And again, you can be in denial all you want, but I tangible, conclusive proof in my own backyard on a lake that I used to be ice fishing on years ago that has no ice at all right now. And again, you could pay attention to all the forest fires around the world or whatever. You could, again, make your own conclusions. But at some point, this is going to be a problem that will affect you and that you can't ignore. And what are you going to do when it gets to that? Say that, you know, oh, well, humans never had any power in this anyway. The whole argument that, well, you know, all these storms and stuff are caused by, the gooberment and chemtrails and all this other silly buzzwords, right? Think about that logic for a second. You addressing that the government has the power to change the weather, or whoever, whatever actors have the power to change the weather, why wouldn't humanity collectively burning lots and lots of things every day, putting out millions of tons of stuff, also contribute to changing the weather? You know what I mean? Like sometimes people give the government too much credit, right? If the government could change the weather to make storms that catastrophic at the snap of its fingers, then again, why wouldn't the collective efforts of humanity putting out CO2 in the atmosphere also have that same effect, if not a more drastic one?
Or you hear this other idea that, well, CO2 is good for the plants. More CO2 is better for plants. And I'm not denying that. Of course, CO2 is literally essential for plant growth. It's the heat that comes with the CO2 that's the problem in this.
So again, to wrap this up, I hope maybe I've convinced you. I would like to say that I'm not trying to force you to do anything. I just want you to understand that it is irrefutably true that CO2 absorbs heat, it absorbs light, so on and so forth. I just want to fish. I just want to enjoy nature and do that until I, reach the natural end of my lifespan. And it's sad that that's not so much of a hope anymore. It's not so much of a promise, I guess.
Back when I was younger, it was the stereotype of the outdoorsman who took care of the environment because he wanted to preserve and enjoy and utilize it, right? When did that change? When is it suddenly like a taboo for, certain groups to be like, oh, all this environment stuff's a scam and it's to make people money, and it's like a negative to care about the environment suddenly? That doesn't make sense to me. And for the people saying that, caring about the environment's a huge like green scam or whatever, you don't think that the current institutions we have that are billion-dollar companies are also going to make money by keeping things the same, by expanding more fossil fuels utilization? So it's a weak argument. Anybody is going to make money in this situation, and there's going to be people that lose money in this situation, whichever way we go. Really, what I'm really, really hoping that this video gets out to is, to the people who really have the most leverage to make responsible choices on this matter are, the people with the most money and the most power. Those are the people I really hope see this, because it will affect them. We can no longer look at this like a situation where, oh, ignoring it is not going to affect me because I have enough money. They'll be affected too. You could hide in a corner of the earth in a bunker with everything you need, and it's still going to affect you, right? There will be no way to hide from this if it becomes as worst case catastrophic as it may be. I implore, the people who have the power to change it to do something about it, because we need to use the leverage of having collective humanity and society work together to fix this. And we've done it before in the past. We've done it before once with things like the ozone layer and CFCs and that kind of thing, where humanity, for one brief moment, understood the gravity that affected all of us on an existential level. And we are confined to the nature of reality, people. So please, please, at least think about this topic. We need to take it seriously. You should be trying to do something, anything. If everybody thought that way, then there would be solutions and actions being done. And unfortunately, it is kind of a big, scary problem, right? Like, it's serious. And serious things, require us to act on them. It don't require us to bury our head in the sand and pretend they don't exist. I wish that just going about a daily life and ignoring this and focusing on other things would be the way to fix it. But our leaders right now, unfortunately, aren't giving me good faith that we need people who have the leverage to do this, which is all of us, but we especially need the people who have the immediate leverage on an individual level to do something about this. Wouldn't we all sleep better at night if that were the case? We need to get off this path. We need to get off this downward negative path. We need our leaders to do something to reassure us that we are at least trying to, address this issue for everybody's sake, for big business's sake, for society's sake, for humanity's sake. We need to do something about this.
How many celebrities do you know that are out there that are preaching about this, or making serious efforts or donations or whatever to make change on this? Where are our leaders as far as like role models go that advocate for this? When I was a kid, nature was everywhere. I mean, we had like people like Steve Irwin and so on and so forth who were huge pro-environmental people. They made it cool. Where are they? Where's that gone? Am I missing something? Am I deliberately being hidden something? Do we even know? Maybe better question too, where are the ones that are out there that don't have an agenda that goes with that? Why can't we just have like neutral people who are pro-environment? Why does it have to be environment with X, right? Why is there always you have to pick this or that at the expense of the environment? It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. Why can't we just look at this all collectively as a species and go, yeah, that's important, because that's where we get our food. That's where we live. We all live on the same little blue rock.
I'd prefer to not use this channel just for political or problematic topics. This is supposed to be a fun, happy place where I celebrate my imagination with you, and you like what I talk about. I'm going to be confining topics and videos like this to a different channel. I'll put that in the description if you want to go ahead and give it a follow. Thank you guys for watching. Again, please consider sharing this. Please, if you share one video from me, this is the one that really would mean something to me and be important to share. Again, whether you like it or not, just give the speculation, give some tools, and let people make their own conclusion off of those tools and the evidence on their own. I don't want to have to make videos like this, guys. If you made it this far, thank you again. And we need to do something. We're running out of time. So make informed choices. Reach out where you can, and so on and so forth.
No, you stay the course! If we stay the course, we are dead! We are all dead!